Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Today in the video, we are going to make a loaf of bread. This bread is going to be a little different than the typical egg white breads that I make on my channel normally. This recipe is by my friend Courtney Luna and it looks really good. I'm excited to try it. It looks very different from the egg white breads. This one is also very high fat, so it's very high fat, very high protein, really good for like a high fat keto or carnivore diet. So of course I haven't made the recipe yet, so I don't know how it's going to taste, but looking at the recipe, there are three things already that I love about it. The first one is it doesn't use egg white powder. Now, I do love egg white powder. I use it in a lot of recipes, but I know that it's not something that a lot of people prefer, or it's out of people's price range, or they can't get it in the area they're at. So I love that the recipe doesn't rely on egg white powder. I also love that this recipe has no whipping of egg whites. Egg whites, when you have to whip them up, are notoriously difficult to deal with. Different environments, humidity, temperature, altitude, all of that kind of stuff affects them. So having a recipe where you don't have to even worry about that, I'm excited about. Third thing I already love about this recipe is that it uses a dozen eggs. And right now we have a ton of eggs. We still haven't gotten our little egg stand out on the corner, so we are just drowning in eggs right now from our 50 chickens. And so to have a recipe that uses up an entire dozen of eggs, I'm really excited about. Before we get to cooking, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Element. Element is an electrolyte supplement. I love it. I use it every day. They have a science-backed ratio of electrolytes, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I use about 2 sticks per day, and that seems to do really well for my body. I love that they have all kinds of fruity flavors that are super refreshing, great, especially in hot weather or if you're doing sports or things like that. But then they also have these delicious warm drink flavors. This one is the caramel chocolate, which is probably my favorite. And then they do have the regular chocolate salt and the seasonal chocolate medley pack, which will be going away really soon. So if that's been something you wanted to try, now is definitely the time to order. If you would like to get a free sample pack with your order, all you have to do is use my link, the link here on the screen or down in the description. Click the link, place your order on the website, and you will automatically get that free sample pack. The link is drinkelement.com/indigo, drinklmnt.com/indigo. Thanks so much to Element for sponsoring the video today. Element is a huge supporter of my channel, and they really make it possible for me to bring you the free content that I'm able to bring you. Okay, now on to the recipe, and here's the fourth thing I love about this recipe is that it's super simple. There are only 4 ingredients, a dozen eggs, 2 cups of pork rinds. I have the original flavor Pork King Good. I didn't have any unseasoned at the moment, so this does have a little bit of seasoning added to it, but I think it'll just add to the savoriness of the bread. Of course, the bread wouldn't work great with those seasonings for like a bread pudding or something that I wanted to be sweet, but I'm planning to use it just as a savory, and so it'll be fine. 1 stick of butter that I'm going to melt, and then 1.5 cups of cottage cheese. And that is it. So first thing I'm going to do is just crack all 12 of my eggs into my blender. Courtney says she uses a food processor, but I don't have a food processor, so I'm hoping that the Vitamix will do just fine. Before I go any further, I should probably preheat my oven. I'm going to preheat it to 375. Next to my blender, I'm going to add 2 cups of the pork rind crumbs. And I love the Pork King Good brand, but you can always get like cheap pork rinds at the store and just grind them up yourself. You know, you can do the rolling pin thing, just crush them up, or you can do it in a blender or a food processor. 2 cups of pork rind crumbs. I actually planned to do the pork rind crumbs first so I could use the same dish for melting my butter. Try to save on the dishes as much as I possibly can. Gonna add in my 1/2 cup of melted butter. And then 1.5 cups of cottage cheese, and that is 12 ounces. So I'm just weighing it out for ease. A lot of people are curious when I weigh things out this way. I put the container on the scale, I zero it out, and then I take out what I need until it says minus the amount I need. So I know that that's how much I took out. So now it says minus 12 ounces. Now to the blender. That looks pretty good. I am going to line my bread pan with parchment paper. This is the way that I usually line my pans. I use 2 pieces and make them kind of like an X or a T, and it just helps the parchment paper lie down in there a little bit easier. Now to get the batter into the pan. And there is the sacrifice left to the Vitamix gods. Throwing this in the oven, 375 for 60 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. There it is. I cooked it about an hour and 10 minutes, and it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna pull it out of the pan and let it cool on a wire rack for a little bit. So here is the loaf. It did sink a bit, and Courtney says that the texture is like banana bread, so it's not supposed to be like a Wonder Bread type texture. It's still a little bit warm. It looked like it was still warm in her reel when she cut it, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it while it's a little bit warm. And then she also said that toasted is the best way to go, so I'm gonna try it not toasted, and then I'm gonna try it toasted also. Smells delicious. All right, so it is kind of wet, and it looks like egg. There's a lot of egg in it, but it does have that kind of banana bread denser texture. So I'm gonna taste this real quick. The flavor is really nice. It's very savory. It's not overly eggy. There's obviously, you can tell there's eggs in it, but it's not overly eggy. So that's nice. I'm gonna go ahead and toast a couple slices. I'm gonna do it on the pan. I don't have a toaster. I guess I could do it in the air fryer, but I'm gonna do it in the pan with a little bit of butter, and I think that'll be delicious. Look at that. Looks like French toast. That looks absolutely amazing. It has so many eggs in it, maybe it'll taste like French toast. Like, you don't have to dip it in the egg because the egg's already inside. I'm going to give it a taste if I can do it without burning myself. I should probably turn off the stove. All right. It does have a French toast vibe to it because the inside is, soft and a little bit gooey, not in a bad way, just because so much egg and there's not a lot of air in it. There's no like leavening agents or, whipped egg whites or anything to give it a lot of air. So it's a little denser. And that's kind of the feel you get with French toast because it's dipped in the egg and soaked through with the egg. So it definitely has a French toast vibe to it. This would be amazing with some keto syrup or something on top to make a French toast out of. I love the flavor, like with the savoriness of the pork rinds and the butter in there. How can it taste bad? It's really, really good. I think this is a great recipe option for anyone that's wanting a carnivore bread, that you don't want to use the allulose or some other ingredients that aren't 100% carnivore. And like I said, I think it would make an excellent like French toast breakfast, maybe a bread pudding. It'd be awesome for that. So thank you to Courtney Luna for the recipe. I had a blast making it, and I am going to be enjoying this over the next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will leave a link to her reel where she has the recipe in the comments. I just took a screenshot of the comment, so I was able to follow the recipe, and you can check it out there. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.